Hey, Taco Tuesday fans, this is Christian Brindle.
And I am Glenn Shelton.
We came together and combined our forces to create something special for insurance agents called Taco Tuesday. Let's taco about insurance. My company, Christian Brindle Insurance Services,
and my company, Lead Heroes,
is here to bring you the latest and greatest news happening in the insurance industry today and eat some tacos while we do it.
If you enjoy the content that we put out on this podcast, feel free to leave us a review or subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes.
Without further ado, let's get into this episode of Taco Tuesday.
Hello. Welcome to a special episode of Taco Tuesday, you guys. I am super excited. Unfortunately, Christian was unavailable today. He is currently out of town and traveling, so you're stuck with just me, Glenn Shelton, founder and CEO of Lead Heroes. But I want to tell you, on today's episode of Taco Tuesday, I have a very special guest, someone who worked very closely with me in Lead Heroes. He's probably going to be making fun of me this whole time, but is Mr. Lester. Lester has been working with me for many, many years. In fact, when I went over to the Philippines last time, we got to meet. Unfortunately, I can't go right now to the Philippines to sit down and interview with him because of the whole COVID situation. I'm hoping, if not later this year, maybe early next year, that I can get back to the Philippines. So then we can have some really great face-to-face conversations, but this will have to suffice for now. So Lester, thank you so much for coming on Taco Tuesday. Of course, you guys, it wouldn't be Taco Tuesday without tacos. I have my unofficial sponsor. You know, here's my first question, and I want to talk about the Philippines. Obviously, Lester, have you give us some insight, but how popular are tacos in the Philippines? Is that a common food that people are eating or no? I can't remember. I don't remember seeing a lot of tacos, but maybe I didn't see them. What do you think?
Yeah, it's actually common. You can buy it at the mall, even at the common restaurants here. So what I have here right now is a common taco. It was actually made by my brother-in-law. Right. Really not prepared of it. It's just a common.
Hey, there you go. That looks like a classic taco, man.
I had three earlier, but I ate the two already.
You sound like me. You know how many times I've been sitting there and waiting for Taco Tuesday to start? I just start eating these tacos. Do you prefer hard shell tacos or do you prefer soft tacos when you are eating tacos?
I like the hard shell taco.
You like the hard shell? I've gone back and forth. I used to be soft only. When I was a kid, I hated hard shells. I never touched hard shell tacos, but starting to come around as an adult, I'm going the other way. I'm starting to be more of a hard shell taco fan myself. You know, what about spiciness? Are you a hot sauce fan?
No, I'm not.
No.
Yep.
There's some spicy. If I remember correctly, there's definitely some spicy food too, isn't there?
Spicy food. I'm not really fond of them, but spicy food. Famous here will be like the street foods. Have you tried eating street foods?
So the one I really wanted to try, this is going to gross some people out, but I heard that this is, suppose it's like a delicacy or a snack for you guys. Fertilized duck eggs.
Yeah, it tastes good, right?
Fertilized. So when I was over there last, I was talking to I think it was one of our taxi drivers, and he was saying that there was like, they take the fertilized duck eggs, they'll bury them, and then they'll on-bury them a few weeks later and eat them like as is that real? Like, tell me, like, is that an actual snack?
I mean, I'm not sure how they actually do it, but I'm really fond of eating that also. But,
How often do you eat that?
like, I would say like once a week. Yeah.
And are you? So it's in the shell. You're just taking the shell apart and you're eating. It's like a little baby duck in the.
Did you take it?
Oh my gosh, this is the best.
Were you not scared when you were about to eat that? The baby duck?
I didn't eat it. So I didn't. I did. I know. I didn't
That's
eat
what
it.
I thought. That's what
Yeah, everyone was telling, like, everyone I was talking to when I got to the airport, I'm like in the taxi, and like everyone I talked to, they were like, "Yeah, you got to try it. It's a common snack here. It's really good." And I was like, "No way!" I was like, "No way! I'm way too scared of it."
It would taste better if you put vinegar on it.
So you're taking.
Did you put some?
That is crazy. That is good. What other? So what's like common food? Like what other common meals are you? I know chicken adobo, right?
Yeah. Also, what else? Because I'm not really fond of eating, so whatever I just have, I'll just take it. It's what they call sisig. It's composed of like an ear of egg. I mean, a pig. I mean, ear of pork. The ear part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they chop it and then they'll put some liver. I'm not really sure with the ingredients, but that is something that you must try. It's actually one of the biggest selling food or delicacy here, or dish here in the Philippines. Also here in Pampanga, where I'm at. I'm actually somewhat central.
You know, one of my favorites, the mangoes that you guys have over there. Oh my gosh, they are so good. They make the mangoes that we get here stateside. Yeah. The mangoes, I can't even eat mangoes when I came, like ever since I went over to the Philippines the first time, ever since I came back, the mangoes here that I can get, they don't taste, I mean, like, it's so sad. The mangoes taste, it's almost flavorless compared to the mangoes in the Philippines, because the mangoes in the Philippines are so juicy and so sweet.
Yeah.
It's like candy. I was eating mangoes with every single meal. I was having them with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was incredible.
Yeah, because mostly they actually grow it naturally.
Yeah.
Here in the Philippines.
Naturally, there's an abundance. You can, you're essentially you can harvest them when they're ripe and eat them right away. It's amazing. So, while we're kind of talking about the Philippines and the culture, what do you think, what makes it such a hot spot in the world for call centers? I mean, again, when I was over there and I'm driving, I haven't been everywhere, but I've been, Manila, probably as far south as, I'm trying to think of the major coastal city, before I started jumping to a couple different islands, but there's an insane amount of call centers. The person I was with was pointing at these buildings as we were driving, and they were like, "That's a call center. That's a call center. That's a call center." So what do you think? What makes it such a great spot for call centers?
I mean, because if this is on my own perspective, and I always say it, because if I'll be comparing like the rates of the being a regular staff here, like working in a restaurant, right, small restaurants, or at the mall or whatnot, call centers provide a better pay and better benefits,
right?
And mostly you guys there in the US, or actually our clients, we do have T-Mobile here, AT&T, all major telco here. I mean, all major telco there. We do have them here. And even small centers for insurances. or any stuff. But mainly, I would say it's one of the biggest business here in the Philippines.
I guess to kind of ask this question in another way. Why? Because you're absolutely right. The compensation to work in a call center is so competitive that I think you can get some really high quality employees working in a call center, and then it's still very cost effective for everyone else in the world to be able to hire call center employees based out of the Philippines. But there's also other countries like that, right? There's other countries in Southeast Asia that kind of fit, but I would still, again, we've tried hiring all over, as I'm sure you've been with me for so long. Why do you think the Philippines beats all of these other countries when it comes to making phone calls, specifically to the US?
All right. I'm not sure if I can say it, but I would say with the training process that we have, also communication skills. I'm not saying I'm good, but basically most of call center agents can speak an average, or they can definitely communicate in English, since it's like also one of the major language here in the Philippines too.
That's what I was going to, I'm a foreigner, right?
I am too.
I'm about to choke on my taco here, you guys. As a foreigner coming to the Philippines, right? I can't speak Tagalog, or I guess, is it technically Filipino now? Did they rebrand Tagalog? Is the national language Filipino, right?
It's Tagalog, Filipino.
So I thought they changed it where it used to be Tagalog, but then they're calling it, are they calling it Filipino now, the language? Or
and it's mainly called Tagalog because we have a lot of dialects here. So
there's 80 different dialects or something?
yeah, I would say we're not only 80 because here in our location, we speak Pampango. It's different from Tagalog.
Yeah, and I know that can make it tough. I didn't realize that for a long time. I didn't realize how many different dialects there was. But, the point I was trying to make is when I came over there, I don't speak a drop of your language. I can't speak Tagalog, but I'm able, it was very easy, especially around Manila and some of the cities close to Manila. I could talk to anybody in English, and even if they didn't really understand me well, they still understood most of what I said. So it seems like there's a cultural level in the Philippines that dates back a way. I've kind of dug into some of the history of, what was it in the 1600s or 1400s? There's a major British colony, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, some type of, English language was a part of the culture early on, especially around Manila. And that's why in my opinion, it feels like the Philippines is the best place to hire someone. If you want someone who can speak English, making phone calls in the US, it's a perfect fit. That's kind of what I've found. So that it's really that culture.
Yeah, especially this generation coming, because I'm not aware of what happened. Like my daughter, just 8 years old. I didn't even teach her how to speak English. But now she speaks straight English.
Really?
Filipino and Pampango. Yeah, she even speaks better than me.
What? And you attribute that to the internet?
Yeah, I would say so. From what she's watching through the internet.
It sounds like it's going to get even better then. Even better culture. And that's the thing. The U.S. culture is, if you look at it, especially from a foreigner's perspective, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the U.S. that's weird. There's a lot of stuff that we say here in the US that's weird. English as a language is really strange the way it works. I know a little bit of Spanish, and the way Spanish works, it's a language where it makes sense, like the way words are broken up. It's easier for someone to learn Spanish than to learn English, if you don't know either language. So, that's, I totally see what you're saying, in the future with all of this content that's online, these shows. I bet the future generation of Filipinos will be even better at speaking English. I was telling Lester before we started recording here, you guys, looking at him, hearing him, some of you might be like, is Glenn the one in the Philippines and is Lester the one in the US? Because honestly, yeah, it's like you can't even tell. It's incredible. It really is. You'd never know.
And it just comes naturally. I believe we also have like a great training process here in the Philippines for voice and accent and language training to adapt like American culture, so that way we can communicate fluently, I would say, or at least we can interact with you guys, because you guys mainly provide businesses here in the Philippines. Mostly all call centers here are actually main offices are in the US.
Right, the BPO, right? The business business process outsourcing, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And for call centers here, they provide better pay, as I mentioned earlier, compared to other work here.
Yeah.
We have like licensed engineers, nurses, who are actually graduated and licensed, and they work in a call center.
Yeah.
We have those out there. So call center is definitely the main source of income here in the Philippines. One of the major main source of income here in the Philippines.
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense. I think it's a great fit for multiple reasons. I don't think it's just one reason. I think it's the culture, the location, the time difference too. For those of you who know nothing about the Philippines, which I'm trying to kind of keep it broad for those of you who've never interacted with a Filipino or you don't know anything about the Philippines, it's almost a 12-hour time difference from Pacific Standard, right? So Lester, for me, it's 8:30 right now. What time is it for you?
It's, let's see here.
Or is it
11:40 a.m.
11:40. Okay, so yeah,
almost double.
Yeah, so it's actually 15 hours. That's right. Is it Eastern Standard? It's a 12-hour time difference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I do. We're bouncing around so many. At Lead Heroes, we're making phone calls in Eastern Standard, Central Standard, Mountain Time, Pacific Standard. So between the 4 different time zones here in the U.S., and then we have the time zone in the Philippines. We're juggling over 5 different time zones, so we can get a little confusing at times. But for those of you who don't know anything about the Philippines, if it's during your business hours, 9 to 5, whether that's Eastern or Pacific Standard or anywhere in between, that means that someone like Lester, who is in the Philippines, is working all through the night, graveyard, right? So when you're used to going to bed at 10, 11, 12 at night, that's when these Filipinos are gearing up for their work day. And, again, when I went over there, it was so hard to try. I'm so used to interacting with you guys, right? Every day we're interacting, sun up to sundown. But it's so tough for me because when I'm over there and you guys are starting work and I'm exhausted, I'm going to bed at night. That time difference was just killer for me. But how was that hard for you to adjust, Lester? I mean, you've been working graveyard for years. I mean, what could you talk about that a little bit?
I mean, it was somewhat hard when I started because I've been working in call center for like 12 years already.
Yeah.
So, but then again, you'll definitely get used to it because before I've been switching from centers to centers. That is something that I actually regret. Been switching to different companies.
Yeah.
I've been a call center hopper, I would say.
Well, I'm glad we
you.
snagged you when we did then, so you'd stop hopping around.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as I know, been here working with you for, I would say, around 4 years already.
Yeah.
This is where I actually found my comfort zone. And working with you, it's definitely awesome.
You heard that right. All of you in the Philippines, come work with Glenn at Lead Heroes, where we've got the best experience.
Absolutely.
You know, Lester. So, and again, for those of you who haven't interacted with Lead Heroes or myself, Lester he started off in the call center. So he was, a person who was making phone calls for lead generation, for appointment setting. And, I spotted his talent right away. And I told him, I said, we need help talking to insurance agents. And so I asked him, hey, I only have so much time in the day. I would love your help. So if you actually end up buying, leads or appointments, virtual assistant or someone from the call center, if you're leasing a seat in our call center, Lester is actually someone that you would be interacting with. And that's how much I believe in the process of outsourcing. And I believe in hiring Filipinos. I don't just have a call center. I also have these same employees who, most of which started in the call center. They're doing all sorts of positions in my company, customer service, management positions, web design, quality assurance. I mean, you name it. There's so many different positions, and there's no doubt in my mind that a Filipino can literally do anything within your company, just like if you were to hire someone stateside. And that was a big paradigm shift for me to kind of figure that out. But what is something, Lester, that, what is there any misconceptions about the Philippines or about hiring a Filipino, or is there anything where you could be like, yeah, that's not true. I don't know why people think that.
I mean, I couldn't tell because not all they may have hired. I mean, they may have encountered like Filipinos who don't speak fluently in English. They may have encountered those other Filipinos. I'm not saying everyone would be good in English, but mostly those who are trained in a call center industry definitely could speak good English. So I'm still getting those inquiries that whenever they ask if where a call center is located at. So of course I'll tell them it's in the Philippines. Yeah. And I do work with clients in the US. There are some who would actually say, hey, no thanks. There are some who would actually say, hey, Filipinos are cool. So
yeah. Well, and again, I think part of the problem too is there's a huge variance in call centers, and like we just talked about how many different call centers there are. And this is something I'm sure you mentioned you've worked in several different call centers. I would imagine the quality between each call center varies a lot. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So there's probably some call centers where the people working are very unqualified and they don't speak very well.
Right.
Yeah.
Or they may have encountered those Filipinos who are working in a small center. Not saying all of them, because there are some who didn't undergo like language training. They hire newbie or whatnot. But mostly, most call centers here provides like a good training, voice and accent, language training. So, I mean, you may just be like hesitant to try it out first, giving it a shot.
Right.
But when you get to experience it, you get to coach the agent. You get to coach the caller if it's your own caller.
Yeah.
And definitely, Filipinos will actually follow or will do their best. to help you out. Because you guys are the ones who are providing a good bank to us, one of a good provider that pays here in the Philippines. So yeah, try it out first. Don't be afraid.
I think honestly, that's exactly what I would say to someone is, you really don't know till you try it. And when Lester says try it, and when I say try it, that doesn't mean try it for 1 day or for 2 days. That means you might actually have to try it for a week or 2 weeks at a time. And this was something I wanted to get into. So I think this is a perfect time to mention it. But, we offer these custom calling campaigns at Lead Heroes where you can lease a caller from us, someone just like Lester who can get on the phone and make calls on your behalf. And we can customize that campaign, the demographics or the area that we're targeting, the income level of the people that we're targeting, the age. So area, income, and age. Those are our 3 major demographics. And it's something that we rolled out a few years ago, and it's become increasingly popular. It's actually majority of our staff is being billed through these custom calling campaigns. But, one thing I wanted to talk about is trying it out, and also what separates agents who crush it with this program and agents who fail. And trying it is kind of where there's a difference there is, trying it and really giving it time to succeed and getting the data you need to make a decision on whether it's working or not. I talk about sample size all the time, and I've talked about it on Taco Tuesday quite a bit. And so our minimum is 2 weeks or 80 hours of calling, because we want you to really get a good idea of how you can expect those results, because the very first day or the very second day of calling, it might not be the results you want yet. What do you think about that question though, Lester? Is, you see all these different insurance agents coming through Lead Heroes, and we'll see some insurance agents who fail, and we see the very next agent comes in and they're killing it and they love what we're doing. What do you think separates the agent who's winning from the agent who's failing?
All right, I would say there are some who are actually like in just starting the campaign a day or two, they're actually like giving up already with the service that we provide. Because keep in mind that this is all customizable. The scripts, the filters, and also the areas that we're calling could definitely be the real factor, especially the pickup rates. Because there will be some days that we hit like a low pickup rates. The days that we hit a better pickup rate. That's why most of the time we're setting it up, like if it's just an 8 hours of calling per day, we set it up like either morning having 2 part-time callers. And if we're not getting good traction during morning, we would have the option to switch to afternoon calling. If you want to personalize the script, which we've found success with the scripts that we've been using. Right? And if you just want to personalize it, definitely we can do that. And if you think your script is better than us, than the script that we use, why not? We'll use it.
Yeah, I think that's a great, and I think one of the key things that I heard you say right there is the response rate, right? Because how can we, if we're not getting people to answer their phone, how can we generate a lead or generate an appointment if we're not getting people that are picking up their phone?
Sure.
And that mainly comes from the response rate we're getting. And there's a million different variables, like Lester just mentioned, the time of year. So summer vacation, right, you guys? So if there's a bunch of people who are traveling because it's summer vacation, or maybe it's spring break or fall break, people might not be answering their phones as often as if they were home during the week. The day of the week, Fridays aren't great. Monday through Thursday is pretty, like there's a good amount of average, I would say, between Monday through Thursday. Fridays are kind of hit or miss, and Saturday or Sunday, again, Saturdays can be good, but Sundays are kind of hit or miss. That's been my experience. but the area is hands down the biggest variable. Rural areas out in the less densely populated areas, so metro cities, they get marketed to, they get so many phone calls, they don't answer the phones as much as rural areas, people that are further away from the cities. You can literally pull up a population density map, you guys, and that population density map is essentially showing you what your response rate will look like. If it's a highly populated area like Miami, New York, LA, these are places where people don't want to answer the phone. So I think that's a really great point, Lester. Anything else about, is there any like common questions or common, like I was telling you before we got on the call here today, I feel like when I'm talking to these agents, there's a lot of times it feels like I'm having the same conversation over and over. So I'm curious, from your point of view, do you ever feel like, man, this question gets asked every single time?
Right. Some are actually asking with leads that we provide. Some, they're telling us that they're not even picking up the phone. So that's one thing that we actually would like to reiterate, that the leads that we provide, we send them out not more than 12 hours on generating. So they have been called that day, you will receive them by the end of the night or end of the day. So definitely we've spoken to them. And that's why we also provide all the data, like the phone numbers, addresses, and all. And even the recordings are being attached as a proof that we've called and our caller interacted with that person, and that person confirms that he is the lead or she's the lead, if not the spouse. That's the main reason why we are attaching the recordings to each and every lead that we provide. But yeah, the next day you call them, right, they may not answer, but you can keep making follow-ups with them, like after 3 days or just once a week, I would say, because you can keep those contacts. We never resell them.
I think I can retire and let Lester take over, because this is, guys, that is what I tell you every time. Like, that's to the point. I couldn't be prouder of you right now, Lester. Honestly, I am like a proud father. It's all in the follow-up. It's all in the follow-up. And just because we just spoke to them, even if we just spoke to them an hour ago, it doesn't mean that they're going to pick up the phone the very first time that you call them. However, if you take our leads and what we do and you compare it to an internet lead, a Facebook lead, a direct mail lead, our response rate when you make that first phone call is typically higher, because we did speak to them, because we have a phone number that is valid. But at the end of the day, you can't win if you're not making 5 to 10. I talked to an agent just this week. He told me he was making 20 calls to every single lead. I'm not saying you have to make 20 calls, but if you are making 20 calls, I bet you're going to talk to probably every single lead or 95% of those leads. And that's just how it works. You have to make those phone calls. I don't know what to tell you guys. Lester is amazing, but he can't sell the insurance application for you. That's why you get paid as an insurance agent. My team and people just like Lester can set these leads and appointments up for you, but you have to finish the process. It sounds silly to say it out loud like this, and Lester's laughing at me, as he should. And Lester hears me complain about agents who are not putting in the work. They're not making the phone calls. They're not doing the follow-up. They're not doing their job. And so that's why Lester's laughing, because this is something that I say over and over and over and over. But yeah, that's a really, really great point. Lester, could you let everyone know about the promotion? We're kind of wrapping up. We're getting close to the end of today's episode on Taco Tuesday, and I cannot believe I was able to get Lester on the episode today. I'm so excited for this. But before we wrap up, could you mention the promotion that we have going right now that expires Friday, May 21st at midnight, you guys? So from the time this video airs on Taco Tuesday, you will only have about 3.5 days to take advantage of this. So Lester, please let them know.
Yeah, absolutely. It is something that you must try, guys, because we have it for our custom calling campaign is on a promo until the 21st of this month. From $12 price point down to $8 per hour. That's already like $4 savings per hour. This is under the custom calling where you get to customize everything, the scripts and all filters, just like hiring your own telemarketer. That $8 price point, you could only get that if you will avail a minimum of 480 hours or a 3 months worth of calling, hiring one telemarketer or 2 part-time callers. So when I try it out, guys, give it a try. For a minimum of 80 hours of purchase, you get to experience our service. Like, again, everything is customizable. If you want to talk to our callers, to your assigned callers, if you want to provide us feedbacks, how they can improve more, like coach them, you can always shoot us a message via email or give us a call when the campaign is running. At least try it out first. For at least 2 weeks of calling, give it a shot. And we have clients, as I kept on saying, for some clients or some agents, we have clients who are finding more success in doing the hourly rate. They try it out for a long term, like a month. So they mostly end up paying less if we will compare it to our fixed cost.
100%.
If we will convert the number of fees. And then again, you can personalize everything. So when you get to talk to the customers, to the leads, that way they can easily recognize you if you want us to mention your name. That's definitely doable.
And one thing I want to hit on too that Lester just said, you guys, sometimes your feedback when you're calling the leads and you're talking to these prospects, that feedback, when we get it, and then we can talk to whoever is making those phone calls for you from our call center, those small changes can be the difference between a lot of success and just mediocre success. So it's a two-way street. We need that communication from you. We need the feedback because that helps us get better. And our best clients, the clients who have been with us for years, we are constantly going back and forth. Hey, can you change the area? Hey, can you try adding this to the script? Hey, I don't like that word. We need to stop using it. It's coming up over and over when I'm talking to the prospect. So give us that feedback. We need it. And you're essentially treating it just like it's your employee in your agency. One thing, again, that I wanted to mention, so I'm going to recap the promo, and then I have one final question for you, Lester, before I let you go. So just like, yeah, I know you're excited for more questions. Normally, to get an $8 an hour rate, you have to pay for 480 hours, just like Lester said. That's over $3,000 that you have to pay. We are allowing, for just the next few days from the time that this episode airs, you can try it out for $8 an hour for 80 hours. That's $640. That's a fraction of what we normally charge. And don't worry, if you're listening to this after the promotion's over, you can still get that $8 an hour rate if you pay for 480 hours or more, which is 3 callers for 1 month or 1 caller for 3 months. So that's the promotion we have going on. It's a huge deal. Please, 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 if you've been thinking about trying this out, now is the time to do it. Now, Lester, you mentioned how, it's just like hiring your own telemarketer or your own caller. Why do you think what we do is better for an agent than if an agent just goes out and hires their own caller? What value are we providing over that? You know, what do you feel like the difference is?
I mean, just not to brag, because you yourself, I'm actually telling them whenever they actually inquire. There are some that I'm actually informing that you yourself has been an agent prior to founding Lead Heroes.
Yes, sir.
So definitely you are guiding us. The scripts that we use are in compliant, and then again, you definitely work hand in hand with us. So every updates that we need to get, you are providing us. But definitely, I mean, for the hourly rate, it is something worth giving it a try. If you want to aim for a fixed number of leads, go with a fixed cost.
Yeah.
But definitely, we'll try our best we'll definitely do provide quality leads. Just don't expect that they will pick up the next day that you call them. But definitely, most likely they will.
So one of the big pieces too is the management side of having a caller, right? So can you speak to that piece of it? Because I think that's what a lot of insurance agents completely do not understand at all. So you understand being a caller within a call center. You've been in different call centers. You now see our call center from kind of the top down. You see all of our management. You know, we've got 6 different managers in the call center. We have several different teams. We have team leaders. It's a really big operation at this point. Can you speak to how much work managing a caller is?
Right. I mean, it definitely takes a lot of tons of time to manage a caller, because if you yourself will be hiring your own caller, all right, you'll pay them directly. Of course, you may be paying less if you hire directly from the Philippines, but hey, with the quality of the leads that they may provide, the calls that they make, you can tell if they're working or not. You need to coach them. You need to check them out every now and then. Not saying everyone, but it would really take a lot of your time. Instead of you doing stuff, closing sales on your end, you still need to coach them, make follow-ups with them. Hey, do this, do that. Hey, what did you do on this specific time? Hey, what's up? What's going on? Hey. But here at Lead Heroes, with the hourly campaign, we do all those stuff. We have our quality team, supervisors, operations managers, and here, guys, I'm here always open for you, providing feedbacks that we can apply, that we can send it towards to the quality team. That way they can coach the callers if you're under the hourly rate. So we all do the work for you guys. You just pay by the hour. And not only that, we are using our own data to generate the leads. But if you think your data would be better than what we have, yeah, feel free to include that in the calling list.
Yeah, we have some agents who will even provide their client list. So if they have a huge book of clients, they'll say, hey, can you call through our clients and set appointments, cross market, things like that. So, but you hit it right. You said it perfectly. You really did. You can get this cheaper. If you were to go hire, you can go to job boards like Craigslist in the Philippines. You can find a Filipino. You can hire them yourself. You can get the dialer yourself. You can find the data yourself, and you can do all of this yourself. But what it really comes down to is the amount of time you're going to spend. And that's what happened with me, you guys. As an agent myself before, like Lester mentioned, I spent so much time when I started to grow this team. When I got it up to about 10 Filipinos, I was shocked how much time it was taking me to manage it, to manage the whole process, the data, the dialer. These are also human beings, just like you'd be managing a team if they were sitting there in your office. There's different things that come up. There's issues, there's conflicts. It takes a lot of time. We are doing all of that for you. that $8 an hour rate, that is an all-inclusive rate. The management, it's 100% managed for you. You don't have to think about the data. You don't have to think about the dialer. You don't have to think about the scripts, the process. If you're unhappy with the caller, we can find a new caller for you. We're guaranteeing their hours. It's an incredible value. So when I hear someone or another agent say, wow, I could do that for myself for cheaper, go ahead, by all means, try it. I dare you, go for it. If you can do it, have at it, But the reality is I think we're offering such a huge value to you guys by having this all in one, this process, this system. And it's been years. Lester's been with me. He mentioned 4 years. I started this company almost 7 years ago now. And so we have a ton of experience with what works, what doesn't work. And now we're really trying to help you guys by taking our experience and essentially giving it to you at a fraction of the cost that it took to develop. So Lester, I so appreciate your time. I know I have him way off the clock here. So we're definitely going to have to get you some bonus hours this week for sure. So I really appreciate you coming on Taco Tuesday. Any final thoughts for insurance agents all over the US as they're listening to this that you'd like to share?
All right. So, yeah, you got to try the leads that we provide and test it out. And not just buy 10 leads or like 15 leads, because you won't get, as far as I know, you won't get like a good conversion on those just like few leads that you can't judge like the leads that we provide by just purchasing 10 or 15 leads. Let's test it out first. If you want to compare our services or leads to a different providers, try to build a different or a separate pipeline using the leads that we provide, and try our service or the leads that we provide like at a longer period of time, but not just like 10 or 15 leads. But we have some also, we're actually placing like 10 leads, 15 leads, but they keep on reordering though. Yeah. That's what I could suggest. Try it out first at a longer time or span of period of time, or a larger volume of order for the fixed cost, then compare it to the different leads. And then again, we do provide all the data, and the report that we're sending every end of the day includes all data, even the recordings. So don't be afraid to test it out first. Even I know you'll be paying for it, but it's worth giving it a try.
100%. And again, the experts that I get to deal with who buy marketing, buy leads, what are they doing? Well, they're buying a large volume so they can see how it's going to work for them. And usually they're giving it a full 90 days of making follow-ups, of seeing how many sales they can get out of those leads, of seeing if they bought 480 hours of calling, they're getting all the way through those 480 hours of calling before they decide whether it's going to work or not work for them. So Lester, you said it like an expert. I couldn't have said it any better. My final thoughts, you guys, on this special Taco Tuesday: take advantage of our $8 an hour custom calling campaign promotion before it expires this coming Friday at midnight, May 21st. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure to subscribe, smash the like button. And until next time, happy taco eating, my fellow taco eating friends out there. So Lester, I hope you have a wonderful,
All right.
wonderful rest of your day, my friend.
Thanks, man.